Hi there, this is Dave from Motels, and I'm here to talk about Chryslers at Carlisle 2025. This is the 100th anniversary of Chrysler Edition, and you can see a pretty big collection, as every year at Chryslers at Carlisle, of vintage and modern Mopars coming in. Some of them are modified, some of them are stock. So you can see this very wide range of cars coming in, and these are cars that a lot of them are cars that you normally don't see on the street, like this commercial Dodge truck. I mean, how often do you see a heavy-duty Dodge commercial truck just driving around? But Chrysler's at Carlisle, here he is, along with the modified Dart, Valiant, whatever, and a whole crowd of spectators. A lot of people park some really remarkable cars off in the parking lots that are like $10 for the day, and then come in as spectators rather than going out onto the show field. Here's one of the many police cars. I think I counted about a dozen police cars there from different years and different eras. It looks like a Valiant, one of the very few of those actual green Valiants that you see out there. It's really quite a diverse crowd of cars. I mean, there's really something for everybody. I didn't even get a chance this year to walk out over onto the other side of the hill where they keep the K cars and the Shelbys and, the minivans and all those. But I was with the modern Challengers. We'll see some of those later. Didn't see any neons except coming in and going out because it is a huge show. There's thousands of cars here and you can see the variety. Really, wherever your tastes go, and even if you just want to discover things that you didn't know they had, they're all here at Chrysler's at Carlisle, and every year is like this. What makes this year special in particular, we'll get to soon. Now, I filmed all this while I was waiting for the shuttle that takes me out to the Expo Center. I just had some spare time on my hands and a camera, and, here's some beautiful cars coming by. Why not take the pictures? But the shuttle to the Expo Center was nice. That was running continuously, and it saved you just from walking. It was just 2 or 3 blocks over there, but in the heat, you'd really rather take the van across the street. I mean, just look at these cars. Look at this variety. It is insane. I wonder if that Intrepid is the police package. That would be interesting. They did make one for a few years. Again, some of these cars are modified. Some of them are stock. Some of them are high performance. Some of them are just regular. This could be a street race about to begin if it was 50 years ago. And no shame in taking along your Chrysler Pacifica minivan. But if there's one thing I really want you to take away from this video, it is just how big the show is and how much variety it is. I mean, just filming people coming in. This was already pretty late when I was filming this. It was past 9 a.m., and you can see that a wide variety of vehicles are still entering. The guy in the GMC van's probably a vendor. This is before people really all got in there on Friday, so there's a lot of empty spaces. And this is just in the modern L car part of the field. Here I am at a different spot. And now it's late on Saturday, and so people are starting to go home. A lot of people bring along those little tents, and I strongly recommend it, but taking some stakes and stake them into the ground so they don't fly away with the wind. And while I did spend an inordinate amount of time, you might think, filming the cars coming in and out, it is an amazingly large show. There's just an awful lot to it and an awful lot of variety in different types of car. Here we're going to stick to some Roadrunners. I just happen to like Plymouth Roadrunners. It's just one of those things. But I mean, really, seriously, how often will you see this many Roadrunners? You didn't see this many at a Chrysler dealership back in the day. We're going to go back to them in a second after we're done watching the cars leaving for the day on Saturday. I mean, just here they all are. Everybody drives right by all the Roadrunners as they're on their way in or out. Just tons of them. And there's the older ones behind the newer ones. And it's just that they're all there. They're pristine. You wouldn't believe that this much classic Mopar in this good a shape was still around. But here they all are. And out for anybody to look at and to admire as much as they like. It's really pretty incredible. If you are into trucks, the trucks are up on the hill. There's a ton of them. You can see some of them heading out. Jeeps are very well represented. AMC is there. I remember seeing a bunch of Pacers and Gremlins one year that I went. And AMXs, they're around somewhere. Wing cars. I really did not take good video of the wing cars, and I apologize for that. But there were a ton of them. And by a ton, for wing cars, I mean about a dozen, which is maybe more. It's a lot of wing cars. These things are worth a ton of money, and they're really getting those front parts and the spoilers. I can't imagine that that's at all easy. So people bringing them all the way to Carlisle so that you can compare a whole bunch of them is pretty amazing. This is a row of early Valiants and Barracudas, just taken from up on the hill. You can see as you go around the just incredible amount of variety. By the way, pretty soon we're going to be looking at something that you don't see at a lot of Carlisles in the past, and that you really don't see a lot at car shows in general, and that is cars from the teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s. Let's just take a look at some of these modern Challengers. Again, going down the hill, you can see the Pennsylvania Turnpike in the distance. So the bigger tents belong to clubs, and the smaller tents belong to individuals. And I filmed this before the clubs were really out there yet. I just got there in the morning on Friday and Thursday and started filming. But anyway, one of the big features of this year's show, which is really different, is the Expo Center displays. And these were a combination of cars brought in by the Detroit Historic Society, Chrysler Historical, but mainly from the clubs, bringing in cars belonging to various owners. So there's some vintage Dodge Brothers Army cars all the way back here in the shade. And then the parking lot was assigned to various club members to represent certain eras. And it's pretty wide representation here. Now, again, a lot of this was filmed on Thursday or Friday morning before a lot of the people had shown up. But you can see that there's a great deal of variety and cars that you just don't normally see at shows. Cars from the 20s, 30s, 40s that are pretty unusual. And we've seen scatterings of these types of cars at previous Chryslers at Carlisle, but nowhere near as many. It took a serious club effort from the WPC Club, the Walter P. Chrysler Club, that is, the Plymouth Owners Club, the DeSoto Club, the Dodge Brothers Club, the Imperial Club, the Airflow Club. They all had to participate, and Chrysler brought these two cars and one of these turbines. The other is brought by the Detroit Historical Society, 2 turbine cars. One of them is still working, and that's the one that belongs to Chrysler. The other one, the turbine engine, apparently doesn't work anymore. I believe that there are 9 of these cars left. Chrysler did offer all of the ones that they made to museums, but not many museums took them up on that. So there's not a whole lot of them left, and they are beautiful cars inside and out. The idea of a turbine-powered car might have been a little wacky. It certainly would have been unique, and it really did help when they made the M1 Abrams tank for a while. 2 turbine cars in the same show, that is highly unusual, and that tells you that it's Chrysler's centennial, according to Stellantis. And they had a bunch of new documentaries running the entire time that people were generally watching. And I came in and I did a story on Chrysler's history, and they had people from Chrysler's history, as always at Chrysler's at Carlisle, giving seminars and interesting talks about working on the Mopar missile, being one of the Ram Chargers. Here's the table from the Plymouth Owners Club. They also had a booth out back. A lot of these cars are from club members, again. And the Walter P. Chrysler Club had a table. DeSoto people had a table. Bringing in the clubs is unprecedented, and it was a great idea because the clubs can have a really incredible national meet, and Carlisle can have the best Chryslers at Carlisle in history, and Stellantis can show people the greatness of the airflow, and you can compare it to the Airstream next to it. Notice that the airflow is a much wider passenger compartment. It was called the first modern car when it came out, and there will be a video out from me pretty soon on the history of these cars. I've actually already done most of it. I just have to integrate some more video into it. And look, more video. But being able to examine these cars right up there, up close, and a bunch of them, it's like having two turbine cars sitting next to each other. It's really a rare event. And this Chrysler's at Carlisle, I think that's what it was. It was a show worthy of the 100th anniversary of Chrysler Corporation and the Chrysler itself, which was made by Maxwell Motors. And how often do you get to see these cars actually driving in on their way to the show? Just like any other car going down the road. It's really pretty amazing to see. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.